it's not just some cultural social injustice or something that hurts us in regards to our sensitivities, but it actually leads to bad politics, all right? So when people cast Muslims in a certain way, if you look at how anti-Semitism functions in this country, anti-Catholic sentiment function in this country, right? The casting of disloyalty on Catholics and Jews in this country, or on Japanese. Why were Japanese treated in a certain way? And how did that function? How was it that Europeans did not go through internment? All right, with the rise of communism and Nazism and all those types of things, but the Japanese all had to pay the price because they looked so different that it was easier to portray them in a light of disloyalty and otherize them to a point that you could throw them all in internment camps and people could go, think that 140,000 of them have to suffer for a few, but we don't know which amongst those 140,000 is not bad. All right, that logic worked in America. All right, it worked in America. How? Okay, or the casting. What this current president said about Mexicans in the election, and characterizing Mexicans in a certain way, characterizing African Americans in a certain way, continuing to do so. So that's number one. Understand that the language of discrimination, that's often the underpinning of bad policy. So it starts with the stereotyping, and then that stereotyping excuses certain political behavior. The second thing, this one might hurt a little bit. Many times, groups that are victims of this channel their frustration by doing this to other groups as well. We so badly don't want to be Muslim terrorists that when we see what happens with the Rohingya, we say Buddhist terrorists, Buddhist terrorism. Why would we do that to another group? We don't like people ascribing the actions of some Muslims to Islam. We shouldn't do that to other groups, religious groups of people as well. That's a problem. To me, that's unfair, and I get the point. You're saying that it's unfair that it's done to us. Maybe you do it in a sarcastic way, but when people would actually cast that on other people, you think about the pitting of minorities against each other in this country. All right, so characterizing one group in a certain way allows for those that have been characterized in another way, all right, mischaracterized in another way, to lash out. They internalize it in a way that I don't like this being done to me, or I hate how this has been done to me, so I'm going to do it to somebody else. All right, it's a very effective strategy of pitting groups against each other. So we shouldn't fall for that as Muslims. All right, and I say, I get that it'll win us some points sometimes, trying to make a point out there, but we shouldn't fall for that as Muslims. Don't mischaracterize or don't do to others exactly what we hate being done to our group. The third thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala distinguished even amongst people of evil the degree of their evil. This is really interesting. All right? Allah distinguished amongst the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam. Okay? The brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam. The nicest one, what did he say? Don't kill him, throw him in a well instead. All right? That was the nicest one, and he'll get picked up and sold into slavery. Better than murdering him. All right? The nicest one amongst them, the best amongst those 10 at that time, says that. Okay? But Allah made that distinction. All right? Because if that guy, if the brother of Yusuf did not say that, they would have just ended him right there, right? So because the rest of them were on board with simply killing him. But he said, no, la taqtulu Yusuf, don't kill Yusuf. He had some sort of sympathy. So instead, throw him into the bottom of a well. And يَلْتَقِتْهُ بَعْضُ السَّيَّارَةِ, and he'll get picked up by a traveling group. And he didn't anticipate the future, but obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was planning the entire time over their plan. So Allah distinguished even the severity of evil. The Prophet ﷺ did the same at Badr. You're looking at a group of people that are going to massacre you. All right?